the junior Herbst, and it's the senior, Burko, Grayson, Burko.
I definitely had my highs and lows at UTA. I probably had more lows than highs. One of them being, that was pretty heartbreaking, was I tore my hamstring my senior year. I was out for 6 months and came back. I redshirted my senior year, came back my 5th year. I was feeling strong, I was feeling good. And one morning, September 22nd, I got a phone call that my dad was in the hospital, and it was a call from my uncle, my dad's brother. They were at a Vikings game in Minnesota, and yeah, that day my dad passed away, and I would say that was a really big low for in my track career.
I think it was like late morning, and I still had my PJs, and I was just kind of relaxing around the house. I had my phone turned off, and Grayson couldn't get a hold of me, and so Grayson called the neighbors to knock on my door to let me know that, you know, Mike is having a heart attack up in Minnesota. And so here I was in my PJs, and I just had to go. I had to fly up there. I just had to see him, you know. But I talked to the cardiologist, and he told me that, you know, he's in ventricular fibrillation. So basically he had this rhythm that has no pulse. And they couldn't get him out of it, and they put him on ECMO. So I was like, I just knew already he was gone.
Yeah, the fall semester, it definitely, I mean, initially it was going really great until I got that phone call.
The year before, he actually told me this time that he was having chest pain. So I said, okay, thank you for telling me, because the first time he had chest pain for 3 months and did nothing. Never told anybody. Just say, oh, okay, it'll just pass. And well, it didn't pass. He ended up having a cardiac arrest and had an emergency open heart. So I knew right away, after only 4 years, his arteries were clogging up again.
I kind of knew it was gonna happen because he didn't really take care of himself, and he never really he had a hard time listening to us, and it was frustrating.
I went to Minnesota. We went to college in Minnesota. Trained at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and that's where Mike, my husband Mike, was from, so that's where we met. So we got married in April 1985 in Rochester, Minnesota. He was a sales rep for Hormel. Every time he'd get promoted, they'd move him to another city. So then we moved to Salt Lake City, and we lived there for 3 years, and then we moved again to Dallas, Fort Worth area.
We definitely had our differences and didn't get along at sometimes, but you know, what parent doesn't get in fights with their kids? I think we were just too much alike, and he saw how crazy I was when I was younger and saw the things I did, and I think it scared the hell out of him, and he really wanted to make sure that I didn't do some of the things he did when he was a kid.
It's just so much fun, and it's just funny, you know? Sense of humor, and just a really funny guy. Probably the other thing is he was always so kind. He was always so kind. He treated me like gold. You know, he was so good to me.
It was hard the first year, for sure. The first year was hard, but I think the second year, this year, has been even harder.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think I just realized he's not coming back.
And his anatomy was really, really, really bad too. I mean, he had like 99% occlusion of all his coronary arteries. All of them were like almost 100% occluded.
I think the thing that bothers me the most, and still does to this day, is that, you know, my mom, it's not, you know, she has to work harder. She has to provide for the family.
You just don't really realize how much inner strength you have until something like this happens. The house definitely just feels different without him here. Yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same. I remember when he first passed away, I would like sit real quiet in the recliner, and I would just be real quiet and see if maybe, maybe I could feel him, feel him next to me, or maybe see him or something, but never did.
I mean, there was a lot of different emotions. I was angry because he didn't take care of himself, and he left. He left us too early. Also happiness because there's a lot of stupid things that he did, and day-to-day lives. We with the family, we're just like, oh, remember Dad used to do this, or oh, he would in this situation, Dad would say this, and you're like, oh, of course he would, because so highs and lows,
I just miss our talks. Bouncing things off of him. It's like nobody to bounce things off now.
The best way to cope with it, my way of coping with it, really just physical activity, running, soccer, playing video games, just trying to keep my mind off of it. But it's not even that it's in your mind. It's not even like you're thinking about Mike or Dad. It's just there.
What's the most helpful thing to help me cope? Well, probably my boys, Garrett and Grayson, has been there for me, and my friends, and my mom, and
it's just like a constant void that's empty. So I think subconsciously I am coping with it.
What do I miss the most from Mike? Just having him there so I can talk to him, just miss him.
If I were to tell him anything now, I would tell him, it's okay, and that, we're doing fine, and, I forgive you. I forgive you.
I guess I'd just say I love you. Love you. Wish you were here. Wish you could give me a hug. Wish you could listen to my problems. He was always such a good listener,
Yeah, the fall semester, it definitely, initially it was going really great until I got that phone call, and, finding out that, your dad passed away. It was rough. Those 2-3 months, it was not fun for me. We did ultimately win cross country that season. I didn't run really well, but whenever that season was over, I kind of numbed myself to it and tried to avoid it. And I was getting up in the morning every day for about a month and a half straight, just drinking and just kind of trying to numb the pain. So yeah, coach and I had a moment where he's like, you don't need to end it like this, end your career like this. You could have a big outdoor season. So I kind of got my wits about me and started piling in the mileage and getting the workouts in and getting in shape. And I didn't have a successful spring at all until my last 2 races. Mount Sac Relays was in California, and then the prelim at Outdoor Conference, I won that, and then the final.
As Grayson Burka now rounds coming through that final turn.
Herb's going to try and swing wide here and make a move. We'll see if Burka left anything in the tank for the final 50.
It's the junior Herbst, and it's the senior Burka, Grayson, Burka. Mavericks, sparked by Madeline Rowe, will take this men's 1,500 meter final.
So for me to end my track career in that fashion was very special to me. I know he would have been really happy to witness that if he was still around. So yeah, he would have been proud for sure.